In this video, I'd like to go into why I got married online, why me and my wife decided to get married online, and just generally how to go about the whole process. So to start off, why did we personally decide to get married online? So we decided to get married online because, quite frankly, we both travel and live around the world, and we met and decided to get married at a time where we didn't really have a good place where we both can get married easily. So I was about to go to the Philippines just a short time later, and I might have been there for over a month, and she was going to come with me. But in Philippines, it's very complicated. You need all kinds of documents. You need, if people are foreigners, mind you. If you're local, it's quite easy. But if you're two foreigners, especially, without resident permits at the moment, it was going to be particularly difficult. And we didn't really want to wait. So same sort of thing. If we would have went to China, I would have needed extra documents to get the marriage certificate, and just we didn't really like. I would have needed a visa. I would have needed a certificate of like marriage status or single status, whatever it is, depending on your country, and just multiple other different documents that it just would have been a hassle to kind of get. So we just want to get married as soon as possible, get it done, get the documents, and just have it all legal on the book, usable for visas, residences, whatever it might be, as well as just generally tie the knot as soon as possible once we felt we were ready. So that's more or less why we decided to get married online. It was much easier than getting married in person in one of the foreign countries around the world that we were going to, and it was just much more convenient. So why not do it? To be clear, you can do this if you're together like we were, like in person. You can do it if you're all separate in different places around the world. You can do it if you're in different states, whatever it might be. So we use a U.S. service. The Utah County got us married, issued the marriage license, and did the ceremony. And it was all digital. So we were in the Philippines at the time. But you can do this if you're in two different U.S. states and want to get married. You can do this if you're one U.S. person and someone from a different country, any country in the world pretty much. You can do this if you're two foreign people, say from one of y'all's from Brazil, one of y'all's from China. You can do this as well. You can do it pretty much anytime. The only and also I just want to, because I know getting married online, this process is actually done by quite a few same-sex couples. So you can do this as a same-sex couple as well. We're just normal heterosexual couple, but yeah, if you're a same-sex couple, you can also get married online like this without issues. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people do this as well, is because it might be either more difficult to get married in your country, or the convenience situation like it was for me and my wife. But also people get married because maybe their country doesn't allow same-sex marriages, or it's just complicated. So they can get married this way and still give you documents and still have like everything sorted out this way. So yeah, speaking of the documents, what documents do you need? Well, I mean, it can depend a little bit, but basically pretty much all you need is your ID card if you're domestic in the US, or you need your passport. So I just recommend getting a passport and using that for everything. So as long as you have that shows your name and all of this, you can go through the whole process. So that's all the documents you really need. With that being said, you will need to provide some information about your family, like your mother, your father, things like this, just their details, place of birth, date of birth, all of this sort of stuff for record keeping to match things up in the future to make sure the marriage wasn't fraudulent or anything like this. So you will need to provide these, but you don't really need like hard copy evidence documents at this current moment. You also, while it might be beneficial to get a certificate of single status if you're going to convert this marriage certificate into something in your own country in the future, you don't really, at this current moment, need a certificate of single status to do this marriage. You will need to like certify online, I believe, that you are single and you are able to get married. However, you don't actually need to provide evidence from your embassy or anything like this regarding this. So that would have been personally very inconvenient for me, because I would have had to literally fly back to my country now, St. Lucia, to get this certificate of single status. Because otherwise, well, I could have went to one of the embassies. However, there's not many embassies of St. Lucia in Asia, so it would have been very complicated. I would have had to go to another country separate from my wife for multiple weeks just to get this little piece of paper. So this was another reason why we decided to go with the online route personally, because it was just much easier paperwork-wise. So moving on, how should you do this? Should you do this on your own, like do it yourself, or should you do it through like an agency? So personally, we did it on our own because I don't know, I've helped people with like residences and citizenships in the past, and I think it's good to learn how to do it yourself. If personally for me, it was good to learn how to do it yourself. So then I can help people in the future, but also just then I know everything's done right, and yeah, it's cheap. It's interesting to me. Personally, it's interesting to me. But should you? It depends. The process isn't really difficult, to be honest. You can, like, I'll probably make a walkthrough video. Maybe I'll post it like here or something in the future. But it's not very difficult. You can do the whole process yourself. You just need like a foreign bank card. So you would need one that is a Visa, MasterCard, whatever it might be like this. If you have like a Chinese bank card, you're not going to be able to make the payment, and you'll need someone else to do it. So, or a Russian bank card, anything like that. So you're going to need like a international bank card, Visa, MasterCard, something like this. If you have that, you can basically do it yourself in a matter of maybe an hour or two of bureaucracy. Not too difficult bureaucracy, just going through the forms, filling everything out, scheduling your appointment, all of this sort of stuff. Maybe it might be 3-4 hours if you're not too used to dealing with bureaucracy. That's for the whole process. As well as you'll need to schedule your appointment, of course, attend the appointment for the marriage ceremony online. So you would have to organize all that. And in terms of the agencies, they charge, it varies by country. So some agencies will charge a few $100s extra above the actual ceremony and scheduling fees. Others will charge, I've seen anywhere from $250 or so, all the way up to $700-800. Depending on what's going on. So you might need a translator there if your spouse or you don't speak fluent English. You might need 2 witnesses to be there during the ceremony to certify it along with the person in Utah, because you need 2 witnesses plus both of you plus the person doing the ceremony. So that's required by law in Utah. So basically, depending on what you're exactly needing, if you need documents shipped out to you like an apostille, or if you just need the digital e-copy of the marriage certificate, all of this will vary depending on the price. So it can be anywhere between there. But if you want to do it yourself, you can. If you also want help from me or my wife, my wife she's been enjoying helping some Chinese people get married because she's from China. So she's been helping some Chinese people go through this process a bit because it's just easier for them and all of this. So if you want her help, you can, leave a comment down below or reach out to us in the description box. We can help you, but otherwise, you can really do it yourself if you want and you speak fluent English. So yeah, let's move on. So the process. Like I said, I'll probably make a full walkthrough video in the future of how to do everything. But the process is pretty simple. So just an outline of it. First, you're going to want to go to the Utah County Gov marriage website, and then you're going to, I'll leave a description down below. Then you're going to want to apply for a marriage license. Once you get the marriage license, it'll be valid for about 32 days or a month, something around these lines. Within that time frame, you need to have your marriage ceremony, or you lose your license and you have to buy it again. So go to the website, buy the marriage license. You have to fill out all the bureaucratic forms, many pages about your details and all of this. After that, you get your marriage license. They give you a little paper or whatever, e-copy, and then you go and submit this to a they have a list of people who will do the marriage ceremony for you. So you can actually take this and present it physically in the U.S. to someone, or find someone else outside of Utah or outside of the county website, this digital website. You can find someone outside of this to do the ceremony, but there's just no reason, quite frankly, unless you want to have some big wedding or something like this. So just go ahead and get your marriage license. You go on the same Utah County Gov website, and you basically pay someone to do the ceremony for you. You schedule the ceremony. Usually it's within, 4 or 5 days. They have a slot available, just a 15-minute, 30-minute slot where you go have a ceremony done. However, sometimes it can be a bit longer of a wait. So I'd say apply for a marriage license and immediately then go and book your appointment. So the cost of the marriage license and the appointment, it's around a little bit above $100 if I remember correctly. So it's not that high. However, if you want any documents shipped out, like the apostille document shipped to you, and you live abroad, that can be up to or over $100 in shipping and processing fees and all of that. So just keep that in mind. But anyhow, that's a process to actually go through the process to get married and get your document. First, you apply for the license. Second, you attend the ceremony. Third, you receive your documents and potentially pay any extra fees if you want them sent internationally. Or you can just ignore that and just get an e-copy. Okay, a couple of things I think I should mention in this video. If you do get married online in this way, there are some special considerations. So, one thing, like, if you're getting married, you're not going to be planning on a divorce. Hopefully you're not. But if you get married in this way, divorce is very, very difficult. You're legally in Utah, you're not supposed to be able to get a divorce unless you have been living in the state for at least 1 month. And then you can file it. So this is quite a problem, especially if you are aren't from the US or both of y'all aren't, because how are you going to file a divorce this way? Yeah, this is one special consideration where it might trouble some people and might scare people away from this process. To me, if you're getting married, you shouldn't be planning on divorce. It shouldn't really be a concern of yours. You shouldn't be marrying someone you think you might divorce in the future. But it is something to be aware of. You can get divorced. I want to be clear about that. It's possible, even if you don't have a U.S. visa and even if you don't go to Utah. But it's incredibly complicated. You're going to need to get specialty lawyers in Utah and go through all sorts of documentation. It's, from what I've heard and discussed with some lawyers, it's an absolute mess. You don't want to be doing that. Yeah, so if you think like divorce is at all like on the cards for you, why are you even getting married? So yeah, anyhow, that's one special consideration I think you really should be aware of. Divorce is very difficult, if even possible at all. But anyhow, let's move on from that special consideration. The next thing would be your post-marriage documents. So you got married, what documents are you going to get and what do you need? First, you're going to get just a marriage certificate with your license and e-copy of this, where they can scan, you can print it out and someone can scan and see it on the Utah County Gov website that it is a real marriage that they did. So this should be valid for everything, but it's not, because governments are dumb and very bureaucratic. So certain countries you're going to need a Hague apostille for if you're going to be getting any residency or citizenship programs through. However, this generic e-copy that you print out should be good enough for visas and stuff like this. But if you're going to be applying for residency or citizenship or some sort of more serious document, you're most likely going to need an apostille. You can get this by going to the Utah County Gov website as well. After getting married, you get like this like login or whatever sort of page. You go there, you can click request documents, and they will they'll organize everything for you, where you get an apostille and then they'll mail it out to you. Yeah, so you can pretty much get it shipped anywhere in the world. Otherwise, you would need like a forwarder, someone to help you out. So yeah, that apostille thing is useful for residences and citizenships, as well as more legal documentation, as well as converting it into a local marriage certificate. So like I believe if I wanted to convert me and my wife's current marriage into a Chinese marriage certificate, we would need an apostille as one example. So like that's another thing. But otherwise, you don't really need an apostille right away. So if you don't want to really go through the hassle of ordering it and paying for it, you don't really need that right now. Yeah. So that's going to really be all for this video. If you have any thoughts or questions regarding getting married, or you want any help, feel free to leave that down below and I'll get back to you. But yeah, with that being said, bye bye.